This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
All right, here we go. Is it yours?
Yeah.
Well, good morning and welcome to the aforementioned Grow Omaha show. Jeff Beals here at your service from NAI NP Dodge Commercial Real Estate Company. That is Omaha's premier commercial real estate firm, serving eastern Nebraska and western Iowa since 1855. We're also brought to you by D&M Roofing, both residential and commercial roofing services, and an outstanding job at that. In fact, you know Eric Oberempt from from D&M Roofing, because he frequently joins us here on the show. This is the only show that talks about buildings and construction and business expansion. Really a lot of fun stuff, particularly if you take an interest to what's going on in the greater Omaha area. Without any further ado, it's time to introduce the legendary real estate deal maker himself, my friend and colleague, Trenton Magid.
Good morning. I got my early morning workout in today.
What, at the state track and field meet at Burke High School?
Well, I drove by that almost every day. It's been going on, but at least once. But no, I worked out my avatar for the Memorial Day virtual Boys Town run.
What's it going to be?
The avatar?
Yeah.
I can't talk about that.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're participating in it. So you're doing
I'm warned. My avatar is...
Is it really a virtual run?
That's what it says on the sign out front of the KFAB studios.
Those would be the only type of runs I would be willing to participate in. I mean, I can do those walks, those walks for charity, but I am not doing the 5K runs anymore.
I got my Tamagotchi out for a Fitbit, too.
Hey, a lot of people had their graduation parties this last couple of weeks.
I went to one last night.
Did you? Really? Fun?
Yeah, congratulations, Spencer Gordman, who is going to KU, and he graduated from Elkhorn High School with distinction, I believe.
And there's your Elkhorn High School Spencer Gordman report for the day.
Yeah.
I went to a couple graduation parties, high school graduation party and a college graduation party last week. And at any rate, there's all sorts of graduation parties going on. And the graduates often are showered with money. They're showered with $25, $50, $100 gifts and all that sort of thing. And so if that's you or that's your kid and they're wondering where they should spend that money, Nebraska Crossing, because when they go there, they'll have access to brands like Vineyard Vines and Michael Kors and Tommy Hilfiger and so many others. And if your kid signs up for the Nebraska Crossing app and then puts a credit card in under the Fast Cash option, every time you use that credit card or any one of the 80 retailers at Nebraska Crossing, you get 15% cash back put into your digital wallet to spend at any of those stores. It's a no-brainer. Get out to Nebraska Crossing this weekend. And again, if you don't have the app, just go ahead and sign up for it and start enjoying your 15% cash back at Nebraska Crossing. We're going to go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. They know mortgages, FHA, VA, conventional loans, and the housing extravaganza hunt for your perfect place to live is still going on. It is still crazy.
What I do is...
What, you're looking for a house?
No, but I like to type my address, in my home address into Google, and then I get my Zestimate from my Zillow estimate or whatever they call it. And it just keeps on going up and up, and it's like...
What the hell does that have to do with Eagle Mortgage?
Well, because then I say, okay, at a certain price I'm going to sell. Even though it's virtual, like my avatar, I look at it, and I say, well, gee, 50,000 more, and I'm out of here.
Okay, but where would you live?
Mom's listening, so she's got room.
Your mom does have a nice big basement.
That's true. It's got a 3/4 bath.
EagleMortgageCompany.com is how you get a hold of them online or at 114th and Davenport Street. Well, the University of Nebraska Medical Center has announced that it's making progress with its plans to renovate the former Omaha Steel Works property. This is the abandoned industrial old steel manufacturing plant west of the Med Center. They have selected Green Slate Development of Omaha and Colble and Company of Denver to redevelop that project. We've talked about it a little bit before, but this is going to be this innovation hub where UNMC researchers and people from the community will work together to take some of the ideas and the research results at the Med Center and turn it into viable products to for-profit companies. Now, this facility will be a $45 million project, 140,000 square feet, multi-use. It won't just be innovation and office space. Inside this thing, they're also going to have a food hall, a market, an event center. It's going to be pretty cool. And the other thing, Trenton, is this is just going to be a part of an entire complex of buildings that the Med Center and Nebraska Medicine have planned west of Saddle Creek. We keep hearing that eventually, right on the corner, southwest corner of 44th and Saddle Creek, or rather, you could actually, I should say probably more like Saddle Creek and Douglas on the southwest corner, like a 9 to 12 story administrative tower there.
Right.
And of course, on the southeast corner is what we've been talking about a lot this year, and that is the eventual next project, which would be $2.7 billion.
I mean, if you have to have a complex, this is a positive complex.
And with that, we'll go on to our next story. We now know the name of the $100 million plus performing arts venue that is under construction on the previous surface parking lot surrounded by 11th, 12th, Capitol, Ave, and Dodge Street.
Steelhouse.
Well, Steelhouse Omaha, actually, is going to be the official name. But what do you think? What do you think of the name?
I think it'll grow on people. I don't mind it. You know, it's interesting that it doesn't have like Kiewit in front of it or Walter Scott or something like that.
Or someone.
Yeah, which
Holland.
Yeah,
the Holland Steelhouse Omaha.
And if it wasn't Steelhouse, it would have been Brick House Omaha.
But I'm with you. I like the name. I think Steelhouse Omaha actually sounds really cool. But I'm shocked that it doesn't have a major donor name on it. Maybe it will eventually. The Steelhouse Omaha by Trenton B. Magid Foundation.
Yeah, thank you. That does exist. But maybe it would be like maybe there's a guy named Gordon Steelhouse or Clara Steelhouse or something like that.
The Clarence Steelhouse and Family Omaha. Yeah, but anyway, it's a great facility. This thing, we've talked about it before. It is under construction. The pile drivings have been happening. Lots of dirt work just about to go vertical, but it will hold up to 3,000 people when it opens in mid-2023.
It's kind of like a modern day, safer version of no offense of Sokol Hall from 13th and Martha.
Yeah, I'm sure the Performing Arts Society appreciates that comparison.
No, but if you look at it, if you've been to Sokol Hall, and I used to see the Faint and different bands there when I was younger, and it's neat because it has kind of the what do you call that, the loge or the
like a mezzanine?
Like good, that's a good term for it. Yeah, that's right. I am in commercial real estate. Yeah.
So you're saying Sokol has that,
Yes.
and so does Steelhouse Omaha, or at least it will.
Yeah.
Okay. Casey's has announced that it has finalized and closed its acquisition of Omaha-based Buchanan Energy, better known as Buc-ee's. Casey's is based in Ankeny, Iowa. By the way, I'm reading the press release right here. Casey's is a Fortune 500 company. I didn't realize it was quite that big.
Oh, they've got like 2,700 locations or something like that, and we got some big ones. And also near Ankeny, Des Moines, or wherever is
Say it.
Come and Go.
Oh, Come and Go
has a huge,
not as big,
a big headquarters there, but they're very sizable, and I'm proud of my friend and our friend Steve Buchanan, and he started with one store that the Anderson Ray Anderson Inc. sold to him probably 40-something years ago, right at 50th and Dodge, and that one will stay a Buchanan run property. He also has the brake shop at 48th and Dodge, and then he'll have about 78th and Dodge as well.
He's going to keep that one?
Yeah, he'll keep those.
The one right on the little triangle by Children's?
Those are gas stations and service facilities, and then the brake shop as well. So, and this show has been on for 17 and a half years, but Mr. Mechanic has been on KFAB for like 30-something years.
We're coming for you, Mr. Mechanic. You better not let down.
That's where I don't get my jokes. No offense, Steve.
Global Entry is coming to Omaha. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection has opened a Global Entry Enrollment Center at Eatery Airport. This will allow local area travelers to get Global Entry and do the process
At an airfield.
without having to travel out of the area. This is the first one in Nebraska. We don't have Global Entry at Eatery because we don't have regularly scheduled international arrivals. But if we had, you could go through Global Entry, which expedites it. If you do some international traveling, when you come into the Chicagos and the JFKs, you'll see these all over the place. But this is a nice convenience, especially for those who travel internationally, a lot of business travelers, another feather in the cap at Eatery. And that is your development news of the week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. They know mortgages. When we come back, we're going to talk about franchising. Goodness gracious, if you want to start a business in this day and age, probably one of the best ways to do it is by buying a franchise. And so we're going to bring on franchise expert Blake Martin from FranNet of the Heartland. We're going to talk a little bit about what do you do if you want to become a franchise? What are some things that you need to know? You're going to find this very interesting because franchising is a big part of the business community. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and NAI NP Dodge Commercial Real Estate. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Let's talk about the franchises that you shouldn't get into. I've got some good ideas.
Blake, what are some franchises you don't recommend?
Yeah, the ones that you represent. No, are you going to talk about global statistics about like what percentage of small business owners are franchises and things like that, or
We certainly can.
maybe what do you feel comfortable talking about? See, this is how the sausage is made again, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Well, I mean, anything in regards to what's on everybody's mind is, what's doing well now and what are people looking for, what's expanding in the franchising world because of the pandemic and,
Right.
and the recession-like environment.
I'll come up with some ideas and see how you respond, you react to
Just
it.
throw 'em out.
2 minutes
There you go.
45.
Throw 'em out.
He's a diverse.
So Emily, you don't want your
capable.
voice or your likeness on the video is what you're saying?
I'll take a picture at the end, but.
Oh, okay.
Okay, do you know your voice on right now in the uncut version?
Oh.
Yeah.
have a
Corey, keep that on.
We have a
Or
substitute.
Corey, why don't you call him Corey? Chris.
You like to call
Chris
people
Corey.
by their- You always call me Beals.
Mr. Corey. It's true.
You just call me Beals. You used to have other names for me like Slim, Ectomorph,
Flacco.
Sarpy Mole when I lived in Sarpy County.
Sarpy Mole. I'm gonna bring that one back.
Sarpy Mole.
When I lived in Sarpy County, like Sarpy Mole. I never quite understood what that was.
I don't know.
You don't live in Sarpy County.
My friend
do you,
David
Blake?
Goldberg.
No, I
would
don't.
always call
It'd be even funnier.
Kevin
if I
Gillespie
didn't
Mole.
know.
Hey, Mole. What's up, Mole?
Mole.
I guess Mole knows, so who am I to talk?
Sarpy Mole. That's the
Oh, Mole.
biggest reason why I moved to Douglas County, so it would be a Sarpy Mole.
Okay, Douglas Mole.
Didn't want to be part of that.
I just couldn't handle that name anymore.
There's some moles out there that are offended.
Mole
Or like
society.
a mole is like a somebody who goes into an organization and shares all their secrets, right?
Yes, true.
Yeah. So maybe I was sharing all of Sarpy's secrets with Douglas County Intel.
What's it called when you're in a cube farm and somebody makes a big noise and everybody stands up?
It's called prairie dogging.
Yeah, prairie dog.
Yeah, prairie dogging. When you go above your cube and
Yeah.
look to see what's happening.
When is your guest calling?
9:35
Okay.
ish. Sam Nautil is his name.
Perfect.
And then there's crop dusting, but that's a whole different story.
Yeah. He's like, I've heard a different definition of prairie dog, but I won't go there.
Oh.
Keep that in too.
Once it's Grow Omaha cut, we'll have you.
Yeah.
we'll have you tell us what that is.
It's gonna need to be pre-approved.
But it's so funny because every once in a while, if you are in a cube environment, a lot of times if I'm going to a client's office or whatever, you walk through a cube, and if not a lot of people go through there, it is funny because all of a sudden you do see people like,
Yeah.
"You're
Yeah.
What's going on?
what's
But
going on?" And then they go back down.
But if you're talking about crop dusting, then it'd be like Grow Omaha cut one.
Cut, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you just sit there and think, okay, what kind of little punny thing can I come up with?
Yeah, on the uncut version, yeah. This is the rated PG.
That's why every
13.
uncut video has tens of listeners every week.
It was probably a good
Tens
idea
of
that the
viewers.
Motion Picture Association came up with PG-13. Because you watch some shows that were,
10 seconds.
oh,
Thank God.
yeah, saved by the commercial break.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid from NAI NP Dodge, commercial real estate company. We're also brought to you by D&M Roofing, commercial and residential roofing services. Okay, we are going to talk a little bit about the franchising business, and we are pleased to be joined by Blake Martin. He is the head of FranNet of the Heartland. Blake, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks a lot for having me, guys.
It's good to have you here. And you were telling us before the show started that you were particularly busy during this last year of pandemic and conditions. And why is that? A lot of people thinking about going into the franchise world these days?
Yeah, people see a certain level of security in franchising. It's been around for a while, and if you're starting a business and thinking, maybe I want to learn from somebody else's successes and failures rather than making my own. And the other factor that we see in any downturn is folks who are the corporate refugees. They've been downsized or they're looking for something more to create some more security. They may look towards franchising in some of those industries that do really well in markets like this. So home improvement businesses, healthcare, education, a lot of those in the franchising space. And people will look to those as a form of security to build additional income.
So as the head of FranNet of the Heartland, I've said franchise guru, franchise consultant, but maybe before we go too much further, why don't you give people an idea about what type of franchising consulting you do and how it works?
And FranNet is a franchise, right?
That's correct. We practice what we preach. So to answer both of your questions or comments, I'm a local small business franchise owner of FranNet of the Heartland. And what I do at the end of the day is I help folks who are thinking about starting a business, wanting to research franchising, or at least understand, is franchising one of the routes I should be contemplating as I'm thinking about entering small business for the first time or the 10th time. And I help people understand what it's like to be a local small business franchise owner and what's out there and how to do research the right way.
And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but at FranNet, you usually get paid by the franchisor, the companies that issue the franchises to your clients, right?
That's correct. If my client is the buyer, then it's like a buyer's agent, right, in real estate. So I'm out there working on behalf of my client, the couple, the individual that's looking for a new small business in town, and my service is free to them because we're all about finding the right match between those individuals that are looking for the business and the pre-vetted franchise opportunities that we've profiled to understand what their top-performing franchise owners look like. And so when you guys hear me say we're like the Match.com for local entrepreneurs, that's where the magic of my job comes in, is seeing if we can kind of find a match between what folks are looking for a new business and what those top-performing franchise opportunities are looking for in a new franchise owner in the area. And yes, when we make that match, it's the franchise or the seller that's paying us, so it's free to the individual in the local market.
Is it true that if your clients are vaccinated, that they have a 14% greater chance of landing that perfect franchise?
Oh, absolutely. I heard 16.5%, but 14 is
you
fine.
beat the White House average. That's awesome.
Of course, 35% of all statistics are made up. We're
25% of the time.
35% of the time, yeah.
Well, I thought that was 17%.
We're talking with Blake Martin, FranNet of the Heartland. It would be kind of foolish for someone to go into the franchise world knowing that they can have your representation services at somebody else's cost. So you had mentioned earlier the term education businesses and maybe some others that were popular. What are the types of franchise businesses that seem really hot these days?
That is a great question. And I will say...
Work from home.
Yeah, working from home businesses, which is all of them, right? So, yeah, education-type businesses, certainly businesses that have proven to be not only recession-resistant over all the cycles. I've been in the franchising field, I guess, through about 5 or 6 downturns. But then those that also turned out to be not only COVID-resistant, but thriving during these conditions that we've seen in the last 14 months. And, yeah, it includes businesses like distance learning or tutoring businesses, which falls into education, needless to say, home improvement businesses, specifically niche home improvement businesses, and certainly services like home health care that have always done really well in the franchising space to begin with. People saw the opportunity for continued growth in a space like that.
Traditionally and historically, when people would think of buying a franchise, usually having a McDonald's would come to mind.
Yep.
And now franchises are so much broader than that. In fact, I'm sometimes shocked about what you can franchise. But given that, I would like to ask you, how significant or what big of a presence do restaurant franchises still have in the people that you talk to? And then part two of the question, what are some types of businesses that are franchised that surprise even you that they are franchises?
Great questions.
Thank you.
So yeah, the food and beverage or restaurant industry still plays a big role in the franchising field. As far as a percentage of our overall inventory of businesses, we work with about 250 pre-vetted businesses that are franchise concepts. And about 7% of those fall into the food and beverage category. So that means 90+% are not. And that's simply because we understand that not one size fits all in business ownership. But certainly when you look at the franchise brands nationally that have multiple locations or dozens of locations within a metro like in Omaha, Des Moines, Lincoln, you certainly see a large percentage of those being in the food and beverage space. So remind me of part B of your question.
What are some industries or types of businesses that are now franchised that surprise even you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So just help somebody start up a what's called Monster Tree, which is a tree trimming, tree pruning, and cutting business. It's like for people who love playing with big toys, right? Big industrial toys. And that is a very successful franchise system that has grown dramatically and has some great margins. And who would ever guess that, carrying around a chainsaw and the equipment associated with that would be a very franchisable concept. Also, swim lessons for kids. There's some really good franchises out there for swim lessons for kids, and that's something that people don't normally think about when they think of franchising.
The thing about franchising, which I like, is it really cuts your learning curve. And as you said earlier, that you learn from other people's mistakes after years and years of trial and error. But it really allows them to say, okay, here's what I'm getting. The performers are there, the help with everything else, and you can help guide them. And so it really gets people to get open a lot sooner. They can learn about financing. They can learn about the lifestyle. And there's got to be a huge advantage to all that.
Couldn't agree more, Trent. And I'm the living example of that. I was in this field before I started Friend End of the Heartland, but realized that the resources and tools that they could bring to me to help me get to and beyond profitability much more quickly than I could do on my own, it just made sense to me. I get it. Franchising isn't for everybody, but I do think everybody should at least explore it as an option. I looked at it and said, we have all these assessment tools that are benchmarked against decades of people getting into businesses successfully. And even if I was really good at benchmarking, I still wouldn't have the luxury of that kind of data and analysis that my franchisor brings to the table, not to mention just being able to rely on other franchise owners, peers, who've been there and done that. And I can go out and ask them questions about, how they've overcome certain challenges.
So if I want to take a walk or run on the franchise side, but I don't know what I want to do, is there like a placement, like kind of like a career assessment that you can go through with people?
Absolutely. We call it a personal franchise assessment or entrepreneur profile, and it helps people understand in key areas what types of businesses could be a good match for them based upon their skills, their goals, priorities, what they're trying to get out of the business, as well as understanding, hey, does franchising make a lot of sense for you? Or would you be that person that's better off? What you really need to do is hang your own shingle and just do this on your own.
And also figure out, like, fund-wise and what they need to have capital-wise and things like that, and time-wise and lifestyle-wise, I'm sure.
Exactly. And that's where we try to teach from our own experience being franchise owners.
Now, at Friend End of the Heartland, you had indicated you have a large group of pre-approved franchises. But let's say a person is looking at a new franchise or a new-ish franchise. It seems like they're being created all the time. And I think one of the questions people have is, gosh, when is it safe to do you want to be one of the first 10 franchisees of a new franchise? Or do you want to come in when a franchise has been around for 30 years and maybe it's oversaturated? What are some general thoughts, Blake, you have about that?
Well, I'll start with, it depends a lot upon where you fall, where that particular investor falls on the spectrum of risk aversion, right? I have folks who come to me who it's clear that what they live for is that brand new opportunity. And then I have others who come to me, a little bit more like myself, to be honest, where I say, we're probably looking for the security of something that has been there, done that, in the same or similar markets. And so what I would say to folks that are looking at something new is, let's look at and make sure that the pedigree of the organization is experienced. Maybe they're new to franchising, but they've been running this location or the flagship locations for 15, 20 years, and those people are still involved in the day-to-day of the business. And they've got folks on their team who really understand franchising and how to build relationships between the home office and the local franchise owners. In that case, you've got a bit of an advantage because you've got the experience you need. It's just that you're going to be one of the trailblazers. You're going to have to take more of a pioneer mindset if you're one of those first franchise owners, and take some lumps with the franchisor as they're learning how to become a franchisor.
Yeah, grow with them.
Yep.
So as we wrap up here, Blake, if someone wants to talk to you to maybe start this process, what do they do? What happens first?
Well, first thing is, reach out to me, and we will work with them on education is always the first stage. What does the franchising industry look like in the year 2021? And does it make sense for you to research this category? And if we like where we are after that, then we'll move into the self-assessment stage where we help to understand and literally build a blueprint of what the ideal business might look like for them, which leads us to that matching stage.
Okay.
First 10 callers get a free assessment. Just mention the Grow Omaha show.
Thank you. The name of the company is FriendNet of the Heartland. Blake Martin, appreciate you joining us today.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Our pleasure. We'll have you back sometime and get an update. All right, Blake Martin, FriendNet of the Heartland. I'm going to take the middle of the break show, and when we come back, we're going to talk with Sam Noddle of Noddle Companies about, it's going to be part of the Real Estate Development Spotlight brought to you by Noddle Companies and several other things on the docket. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
All right.
The middle of the break show.
What's that?
We're going to take the middle of the break show. That's what you said.
Oh, did I say that? Oh, sorry.
One mistake in 17 and a half years. The
Middle of the break show. Middle of the show breaks. Yeah.
So I've got this great idea for a franchise.
Yeah.
Eliminate the worries of sharpening scissors at
And
home.
he makes fun of my
Sharpening scissors.
I'm on the break though. No, I don't
not
think.
really.
What about burger in a blender? And basically you go through the line, you decide whether you want it with a spoon or a straw. Then you get it fries, burger, whatever it is. You can put your Coke in there too, whatever it is. And the tagline is, it all goes to the same place anyway.
Well, you could market it through assisted living centers,
Yeah, it's true.
right? I mean, that could be you don't even need a sales team.
Grandma. Yeah.
Like it, yeah.
Was that
Puree.
Saturday Night Live?
Burger puree.
Yeah. Was that Saturday Night Live that had Eat and Blow?
Colon blow.
No, there's Colon Blow. There's Super Colon Blow, but there's I think it was like Eat and Blow or something like that.
Colon blow wasn't that the one where
Yeah,
they had
total. How many bowls of
they had like
total?
pallets and pallets full of total to equal one dose of
No,
colon
no, it was
blow.
a pyramid, and the guy got up. You can find it on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen.
How many bowls of total would it take to match one dose of colon blow?
3?
I'm gonna have to look that up now.
It's definitely it's there.
And
It's
there's
there.
like just stacks and stacks and stacks.
Keep going. You know what? I think it's Phil Hartman, who was one of my favorites
Oh
of all
man.
time. Yeah, great interview. I think it really.
Yeah.
Thanks. You guys are
Yeah.
great interviewers.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a while. Hopefully this blows up for you, but
Appreciate it.
no, it's good. Thank you.
Well, because we're recording it on video, we now put it on the website on a thing called Grow Omaha Highlights.
Yes.
And so the whole show is on there too, but we chop it up into pieces too.
That's smart.
And then you can share it with anyone you
I
want or whatever.
definitely
So.
will. Yeah.
What's the most unique franchises that you've heard of?
Well, definitely the Monster Tree one is up there. That always comes.
You use the mosquito one, the mosquito guy.
Yeah, I use them all the time. Have you tried them yet?
No, I heard that showering though helps reduce the amount of mosquitoes around your backyard too.
Not really.
No.
Yeah, not really.
How would you know?
That's a good point.
Yeah. No, they don't care whether you're clean or dirty. They'll come after you. No, we use those.
Good morning, girl.
They treat your yard, and you do it every 21 days.
Mosquito hunters, mosquito Joe.
Yeah, I do.
You're talking to a franchise expert.
Mosquito Squad
Yeah.
is what I use.
Yep.
It's called Jimmy John's.
And
You
so
heard of it?
they come out every 20. Do you ever use them?
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're
I help
amazing.
those guys come into town.
No, I mean, but you would use them in your yard?
I do.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
It works.
It really works.
I
It
haven't-
works.
I haven't
Yeah.
used them for
Yeah.
a while.
In fact, the one thing I'll notice is that when you get closer to the 3 weeks, maybe we'll start to see one here or there.
I noticed that
Those last
summer.
few days.
Yep.
But then when they come after that, for 2 weeks at least,
Yeah.
you're solid.
It's probably the same guy bringing mosquitoes to your house.
Well, you sign
It's
up.
like-
You
As he
sign up
drives
for
up
a
the
year
street,
in
they're
advance.
coming out of his muffler.
It's
as
like
he drives
those-
up the street.
Those young guys
You don't
that
have to because you sign up for a year in
I
advance.
think it was like New Jersey or something that this thriving business they had was a glass company or something like that, and
Uh-huh.
they were going and breaking windows all over the neighborhoods, and,
Oh, that's
and,
nice.
and all of a sudden it's like their business just started booming.
Smash and grab.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
They're a smash and grab. That's the smash and grab model of business.
Yeah, I had somebody take my catalytic converter.
Oh, did
And
you?
then I
Brad
started
Williams,
driving
our
down the street, and there was
photographer,
a
yeah.
muffler shop like a block away. I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
I want to see the car. I want to see the video.
That's kind of like the physical presence version of you talk about something over lunch
Oh,
and then
right.
It's
the
a couple
ad pops
$1,000.
up on your phone.
You buy the
For-
car,
yeah.
and
You know, what do they
see
get for the
everywhere.
metals? 30, 50 bucks or something like that? Yeah, it's sad. And they got those
is
battery
sad.
operated.
That
Yeah,
is sad.
and your catalytic converter only disappears when you're within a block of a muffler shop.
Yeah, quite a
In fact,
coincidence.
some tells me that if I went on to Google right now, there would be a muffler ad.
And something about franchising.
And something about franchising.
Franchise.
And they have a signed catalytic converter special
Commercials, and then you'll be right up after that, okay?
featuring your car brand.
Awesome. And then they'll,
Yeah.
they'll lead you right
The
in.
digital sign. Now featuring a 2019.
Brought to you by Mosquito Squad.
Yeah, brought to you by Mosquito Squad and Mosquito Hunter.
And colon blow.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there was an ad
and
for Coleman-
Sawzall cordless.
Although I could see an ad for Total Cereals.
It's true.
Do they still have Total?
Don't talk about guns though.
I don't
That's
eat
right.
cereal.
You don't eat cereal?
I don't eat cereal. I like cereal, I just don't eat it. I kind of make little omelets for myself every morning.
Got a cereal?
He's a protein guy.
Eggs and peppers and onions. And
There's nothing
spinach.
like a good avocado.
I eat a lot of
Yeah.
avocados. The
Yeah.
problem is my wife's not an avocado eater, and so sometimes she'll buy them for me, and a lot of times she hasn't quite mastered the
Softness.
The squeeze
softness
test?
thing. Yeah, the because you don't want them too soft,
Right. Yeah.
but if they're hard, they're inedible.
right.
Yeah.
And almost impossible to cut anyway.
Yeah.
That's such a work. When you get a bad avocado, you're,
I know you're so excited. You open it up, it's all black inside. That's and it's your last one.
nowhere else can you get avocado talk, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you like avocados, Emily? Good.
Delaney,
No.
You don't eat it. Do you like guacamole?
is it a texture thing?
No, everything.
Really?
Oh.
I know they're a top 10 superfood.
Ooh.
So are blueberries.
Yeah, those are nasty too.
Oh, you don't like blueberries?
No.
Well, you're so
Gosh,
young.
what
You don't have
country
to
are
worry
you
about it.
from?
Just wait till you're
I
our
like
age.
raspberries.
Just wait till
What do
you're
you
our
mean by
age.
that?
You'll be eating blueberries and avocados and spinach
Spinach is okay.
and broccoli.
Broccoli's good.
Okay.
Avocado, get it out. Mm-mm.
Really?
Really?
Nasty.
They're superfood.
Not even on a sandwich or something?
No, especially on it ruins the sandwich.
Oh.
They put it on a sandwich. I didn't eat the whole thing.
They make a burger. I mean, if you put them on a burger, it makes the burger.
No, it ruins it. And then even if you take it off, there's like avocado residue that ruins the whole thing.
What you want on your burger is a couple little bacon strips, even though
For me, it's
unhealthy.
coconut flakes. I can have
Monterey
coconut
Jack cheese, lettuce, onion, tomato, and then avocado. That's a perfect.
You're an avid avocado.
Call it the domain.
Avocado.
Oh, well, if I'm speaking in Spanish, I call it avocado.
See.
But I'm speaking in English, I
Come
call it
on.
avocado. Avocado.
30 seconds. Your guest
All
is
right.
on the
They're out.
line. by the
What's
way.
that? No, stick around if you want.
Alright.
If you want to be the live studio audience.
We need a laugh track.
Recorded before a live studio audience of 3 people. And really, you guys don't count because you're working it, so
You're behind the
it's
camera.
Blake.
Get something water.
I think
We
there's,
should
I
have
don't know
like
why I
a
didn't
little,
bring a water in with me.
there's a
We
cup
do-
thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if there's
There's
cups
ideal
next
pro
to
water.
it. Hopefully there is cups next to it, but I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't
If
wanna
not,
move
there's
that
probably some
camera.
downstairs.
Go
I
ahead. on the break.
will kick that.
You gonna put your headphones on?
Yeah, work with it.
And welcome back to the show. Grow Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and NAI NP Dodge Commercial Real Estate. It's time for the Real Estate Development Spotlight, which is always brought to you by Noddle Companies. Noddle Companies is a premier commercial real estate development firm headquartered here in Omaha, doing all sorts of developments around this area, but in other parts of the country as well. And once in a while with this development report, we bring in a live interview with one of the actual experts at Noddle Companies. Today we have Sam Noddle. Good morning, Sam.
Hey, good morning, Jeff. How are you?
Good. It's good to hear your voice.
I'm fine too. Thanks.
And Trenton always is sensitive about being left out.
Hey, what's going on, Trenton? How
Hey,
are
not
you,
much,
too?
my man. How are you?
I'm good. You know, I got to be honest. First off, thank you guys for inviting me to be on the show. For the last 10 minutes, I've been sitting here practicing my radio voice. So,
Are you the big voice guy?
Sam?
am I a big voice guy?
Yeah, you are.
I don't know about that. I just, you guys have such good radio voices. I wanted to pick up the slack.
Well, I've been practicing mine for 17 years and still have a little ways to go, but I appreciate the compliment. Now, you guys must be keeping really busy these days. So many projects happening at your firm.
We are. My focus has been really on Exarban Village and a lot of the retail leasing and new amenities that we have brought and that we're going to continue to bring throughout the summer. We're really excited. I think people are going to see over the next couple weeks and few months a lot of really cool things happening in the village, new amenities, new tenants, new events. Over the last, call it 8 months, we've had the good fortune of bringing in 9 new tenants in the village. 6 of them, all dry retailers and some restaurants. And then we added 3 new really cool vendors in our food hall, the Inner Rail. So I guess I can go into a little detail about some of those if you'd like.
Yeah, please do. Give us a little bit of an overview.
Well, we started out, we wanted to take a little bit of a wellness approach. So we brought in some retailers like Power Life Yoga, which is a really cool yoga studio from Des Moines, Iowa. They got 10 or 12 locations across the Midwest. They opened right across from our food hall in the Inner Rail in January. Next door to them, we were trying to think of a really cool use that would go well next to a fitness facility, but that wasn't a food vendor that would compete with our food hall. So there's a couple really cool plant shops around the country, like the Sill or the Houseplant Club or Plant the Future down here in Miami. And we went to one of our tenants who's been with us for about 12 years, Kinghorn Gardens. They're an amazing landscape company around town. And we pitched them the idea of doing a really cool houseplant shop. And they came up with this concept called Chlorophyll, which opened about 2 months ago, which is absolutely unbelievable. They knocked it out of the park. They did a great job. If you haven't been there, I encourage you to go check it out. Just don't bring your wife because you're going to leave about $500.
I'll be broke.
Less rich. Yeah. But it's really cool. About 3 weeks ago, we opened up another Green Street cycle. We were sitting there one day and we were thinking to ourselves, gosh, we're sandwiched between 2 college campuses. We're on the bike trail. Why do we not have a bike shop here in the village? So we went all around town looking at different bike shops, and I think Green Street happens to be the coolest. The owner's become a great friend of mine. And they opened up a really cool, about 3,000 square foot shop right on the south end of the Inner Rail. Our most recent tenant to open is right next to Chlorophyll in the Inner Rail, across from the food hall, and it's called Status. And the owner of Status is really cool, Christy. She had an amazing online business where she was selling lightly used, very high-end handbags. I mean, these are the kind of handbags that will go for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. And right before she opened, she told me she sold one of these bags. It's called a Burka bag. She told me she sold it for $30,000 to somebody in Omaha. So she opened
I was
up.
wondering what that charge was on my credit card, Sam.
Stephanie.
She's really cool. She's done an amazing job. She opened up a little 700 square foot boutique that is designed to emulate a woman's closet, and she did a really good job. So we're really happy about that. She opened last Saturday. The newest tenant to open in the village is going to be a really cool higher end Indian concept that I don't think we have something like it in the city. This would be something that you would see in Chicago or New York or down here in Miami. It's a 4,500 square foot space. They're going to have a full service cocktail bar, and it's going to be called Saffron, and that's going right across from Lululemon in the building that we call AV8, in the former Lotus space. So they should be open probably around September. So we're excited about that. And then
Can't wait to try that.
Is there food as well as drinks, or what do they do in 4,500 square feet?
Yeah, so these are actually two concepts or two chefs that have some concepts in our food hall. They're our highest performing operators in our food hall. And it's a partnership between Nori Sushi and Momo. And they're going to have a full-service Indian restaurant similar to, like a Jaipur, but a little bit higher end, and a full-service cocktail bar. So I'm really excited. I've been, following these guys as they've created the concept and the menu, and working with the architects and working with our Noddle team. And I got a lot of faith in them. I think it's going to be pretty special.
Wow.
Excellent.
And then in our food hall, we were able to bring in Culprit Cafe. Luke, the owner of Culprit, has become a really great friend. I'm really proud of what they've been able to do in our food hall. We're super excited, and if you haven't gone by to try one of his donuts, they are off the charts. And then we opened up a concept called Hola Mexican Eatery. So we're excited about that. It's really good Mexican food. And then next to them, about 2 weeks ago, we opened up a concept called Rogamo, which is a really interesting Chinese sandwich shop. And I would encourage you, go check that out. That is going to be really good.
Excellent. And the dog park is really wagging these days, I bet.
The dog park is popping. Yeah, the dog park is popping. On June 6th, or June 5th, I'm sorry, we're going to roll out our first ever Interrail Volleyball League. We partnered up with Infusion Brewery. So I'm happy to say we're all sold out already. So I'm very excited about that. The Bark Park is just absolutely large and charging. The Green Spot girls have, who are our tenants over in shops at Exarban, they've got a couple tricks up their sleeves. So be on the lookout. We'll have some interesting things popping up around the dog park. We're going to have dog washing stations put in. We'll have a station where you can fill up your dog bowls. And then we're even going to have a very cool experimental retail component, something that I haven't seen anywhere in the country. I'm really excited. So I've been working with the Green Spot girls on that. And I would imagine by the end of June, it will start to take form. I'm really excited because later on in June, we're going to have our grand opening of Sonny's. Sonny's is an Airstream bar and wine garden over there just on the north side of the pop-up park. So you'll start to see the Airstream in place here in a couple of weeks. Chlorophyll is doing a really cool, 300 square foot greenhouse that's going to be situated about 25 yards to the west of Sonny's. And in between them, we're going to have a really cool wine garden, very bohemian kind of chic vibe, similar to something you'd see at Bacchanal in New Orleans or Lagnape down in Miami. So I'm really excited about that. We have our food hall operators, Hospitality HQ, who are helping us with that. And
Sam, we're gonna have to wrap it up.
Yep.
I'm sorry to cut you off because I wanted to let you go long because I'm loving all of this, but we are shot out of time, so we have to get this last thing in. So can we have you back in a few weeks and ask you some more about the stuff we're talking about?
Absolutely, and hopefully by then I'll have a little bit more to share with you.
Okay,
Thanks,
we
Sam.
really appreciate it. That's Sam Noddle from Noddle Companies, your Noddle Company Spotlight. When we come back, we're going to have our lightning round by Turner Construction. I didn't want to cut him because that's good stuff.
I know.
Yeah, that saffron place, I can't wait to try that.
I know.
You got a lot going on. Holy cow.
I'm thinking saffron's going to be the lead story in the newsletter on Thursday, because we always start with restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one will be a good one.
No doubt.
So
Yeah, that's pretty unique.
We were talking about the most bizarre franchises.
Oh, yeah. The most bizarre. Yeah, well, I've got a really good one. So I was doing a presentation in Ankeny, and this lady was talking about how she had this concept all laid out, and she was starting a franchise. It had her first, maybe her second, and wanted some advice on, did I build the infrastructure the right way? And I said, well, what is it? It's a fitness business. I said, well, what makes it unique? She said, well, it's all pole dancing. I'm like, well, with or without clothes? She said, well, that's up to the owner.
Is it,
Like,
is it with
okay.
instruction or
Hmm?
is it? Because I know a lot of
It's
women,
literally
women
exercise.
mostly- yeah,
It's
exercise.
fitness
Yeah,
through
I've heard of it.
pole dancing. Yeah.
Should have brought that at the beginning.
Oh, thank you.
I can only imagine the names of it.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember. I said, as you were asking me that question, I was trying to remember what the name of it was. I think she had a pretty good, catchy name. But that was definitely the most unique one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
You
caught
know,
my
the
attention.
funny thing, I heard something about that people will do that. Kind of like, you know how they have kickboxing and boxing for fitness, and
Right.
do the pole dancing for fitness,
Yeah.
and all that sort of thing. The best is when guys like Trent and I are clients of the pole dancing place. The rest of the gym clears out because no one wants to see the visual.
I'm guessing the
They
spouses.
get out the chiropractor.
I'm guessing the
Sorry.
spouses.
That referral here.
Get the chiropractor.
The spouses don't complain either.
Where are you going, honey? I'm going to my pole dancing class.
Pole dancing.
Here we go.
Okay, quick.
That's great.
And welcome back to the show. This is Grow Omaha, brought to you by Turner Construction and D&M Roofing. It's time for the lightning round, which is brought to you by Turner Construction. They are a Fortune 500 company that in many ways acts like a small company because they're very community service oriented, do a lot to create the workforce of the future. They do big projects, they do little projects, they do in-between projects, and Turner Construction just does a great job with any project that has their name on it. Our office here in Omaha is in the Mastercraft Building, Millwork Commons area of North Downtown, and Turner Construction is very worthy of being the sponsor of our lightning round. Lots of things to tell you here. Tropical Smoothie Cafe is opening at 10215 South 168th Street. Sean Williams, who has the Cold Stone Creamery franchises, will operate that. That's in the Tiburon area, 2,400 square feet, opening late summer. It'll be the first of several locations around town. Cupcake Omaha will open in the Capital District on May 29th. And check this out. Anyone who mentions the Grow Omaha show, when they go there in those first couple of days, will get a free cupcake.
That's what I'm talking about.
Damn right. And at any rate, I sampled a couple of them this week.
Thanks for that invite.
It was absolutely
You
outstanding.
do that all the time.
The Wardrobe Spa that blew up at 168th and Harrison Street is going to become a Jimmy John's. Presumably, the Jimmy John's that is located just north of Harrison Street will
Yeah,
move.
they'd be kind of close together.
The Village Inn, or former Village Inn at 44th and Dodge, will become another location of Abelardo's. There are a lot of Abelardo's around town, but that will be another Abelardo's.
And don't mention the opening of the Farnam Hotel, Jeff. You know, the Angie and Jason Fisher were kind enough to give us an executive tour of their facility and everything, but I don't remember getting the written invitation for their grand opening the other days. But so let's not talk about that fabulous hotel at 13th and Farnam.
Sorry about that. I did get an invitation. I must have forgotten to forward that on to you.
Thanks, guys.
It was probably when I was eating those cupcakes from Cupcake Omaha that I forgot to send you
Jeez.
the Farnam opening. But it is open and it is beautiful, and they did a great job.
No wonder I don't give me access to news@growomaha.com.
Primos Mexican Restaurant, located at 930 Fifth Avenue in Council Bluffs, is going into the former Petro's restaurant at 60th and Center. We've known that for a while, but it's been kind of taking a while. But now we understand they plan to open there in June. They have had a bunch of equipment delivered, and so it's getting closer. All right, Trenton, here's an interesting business. It's called Selfie World Omaha. Selfie World Omaha. It's going into Shadow Lake Town Center in Papillion. It's open now. 5,000 square feet. They have 20 places, kind of backdrops or scenery stations where you can take selfies. And some people go with their friends just for fun, but they have birthday parties. They'll have corporate outings, office team building sessions. So Selfie World Omaha in Shadow Lake Town Center sounds kind of interesting. The Chase Bank, big Chase Bank, continues to expand in Omaha. They are developing a location at 132nd and Center. Breaks Plus is going to have a freestanding building near 180th and Pacific. And Dollar Tree will soon be working on a 10,000 square foot space at 4008 Twin Creek Drive in Bellevue. The new Buena Vista High School
Fighting Bison
at 60th and L will have a small space dedicated to kind of an express version of a YMCA, like a mini YMCA. And they're also going to have a One World Community Health Center in there as well. And the music's playing, which means it's time for Jeff and Trenton to stop talking. That's it for this week. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Magid.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by NAI NP Dodge Commercial Real Estate, D&M Roofing, and Turner Construction on News Radio 1110 KFAB. There we go. It's a wrap.
You guys just take yourselves too seriously.
I know. I get that all the time.
Not all the time you take yourself. Yes, you do. Emily, thank you.
Nice job, Emily.
Yeah, thanks.
We appreciate it.
I'll
Delaney,
send you a case of
excellent as
avocados
usual.
as a
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.